All right, guys, here's a quick little video. I've had a couple people ask me what's the best way to find references? How do I find references? Well, I will tell you. I use Google Scholar for absolutely everything when it comes to references. So all that you have to do is type scholar.google.ca or .com, whatever you like, into the scroll bar. And then really what this is, it's just like Google, it's a database. But instead of typing in, something and you get websites to click on and you can scroll through, you get peer-reviewed journal articles. Okay, so for me, I'm doing some research on play at work. That's one of the fields I do research in. And here you can see I Googled play at work, or I searched for play at work, and you can see these are all different play at work studies that have been done. Okay, I should also note that what I tend to do, a little trick, okay, is I always put quotes around the search term, okay? Because if I don't put quotes around the search term, you can see that it's looking at any paper that might have all three of those words in the article. But really what I want to do is I want to find papers that have those three words as a string, right, together, okay? All right, so now you can see, hey, it's only going to return articles that have the string play at work. And say, hey, I want to do, play at work and, I don't know, discrimination or the dark side, right? Or something along those lines. It's only going to find articles that have this string, play at work, and another string, the dark side, okay? So in this case, we'd find all the papers that have something related to play at work and something related to the dark side, or kind of like negative outcomes associated with it, okay? Right, so that's kind of like how you search, right? In terms of like really quickly up here, and let's take a look at some of the things, some of the outputs of this. Okay, so first off, what this does is this gives you the article. What I typically do is I use the middle button here, do like not a right click, but like this is a right click. I do a middle click, and it pops open a new tab here. Okay, that's what I do. That's what I like to do. So I don't like click on that and then get out of there. So I probably will do something like this, right? Click on a bunch of these. If you click on these, it takes you actually to the site where the article is. So really you can only just read the abstract from here. Sometimes you can read other parts of it, but really just the abstract. Sometimes the abstract is enough, but sometimes it's not, right? Like you can't get enough from that piece. Okay. So in that case, if you actually click this, middle click over here where it says PDF, it'll actually take you to the full article. Okay, sometimes if you have, you can access it right from home. Other times you have to go through your university's library. So for us, the TMU library, and then you can find the full article right here. Okay, good. So that's how I would do that. What else am I gonna say? Oh, citing. Okay, this is probably for people who hate knowing how to cite appropriately. Okay, this will save you like tons and tons of time. Okay, you click on this little button down here, and then here are all the different ways to cite appropriately. In my class, I always use APA format. It's kind of the standard for in the management. APA format, in case you have the last names of the authors, the year, the title, the journal, and then like the version and page numbers and things of that kind. Okay, so what I do, click on that, copy, and then paste it in the back of wherever you need to reference. Here, this is a good indication if you're unfamiliar whether an article is is of high quality or not. For me, I know authors and I know journals, so I know whether the journal has a good reputation. I know authors, whether they're highly cited or not. One thing I guess you could do if you really want to is you click on the author. There we go. We can see Nicole, and you can see her H score and some of her citations. Okay, so if she's being cited a huge amount, then they will have a higher H score and a higher number of citations. Okay, let me give you another example. So Nicole's citations were 278. Let's see. Yeah, Jillian is quite a bit more well published. Okay, so quite a bit more there. You can probably see that Jillian was the senior author on that paper. Okay, and the Journal of Organizational Behavior is a good journal in my field. Okay, what else? Okay, some other kind of other kind of spin on this, or actually one thing that you can do is you can say, hey, this is like a really cool paper. I really like what this paper has to say, why don't I look deeper into research in that field, like down that similar vein? Then you click on this button, Cited By, and this gives you a list of all of the papers that referenced that original paper. So right here, that referenced this paper here. Okay, so say you want to search something even more in depth from these papers, so you know that it's somewhat related to this initial paper. Well, click on this, and then you swipe further, right? So maybe I want to say, hey, what's like the impact of gender, or maybe I want like, are we talking about discrimination at all, right? So the dark side discrimination, and then here again, we click on these buttons if we want to have the full article, and then we can go from here. Okay, all right, let's go back. I don't want to go search from within. Okay, cool. The next thing you can do is you can notice right here that you can see the years. Okay, so say if I only want recent stuff, I want 2020 and more recently. Okay, if I want older times, if I'm looking for a particular paper and I'm like, okay, it's an older one. What is it? And there we go. We can select the time range. Okay. If you want to go something more sophisticated, if you will, than just the time, you click up here, and you can go to an advanced search. Okay. So this is oh, it already does. It's saying exact phrase, right? I don't have to put the quotes around it. If I'm looking for a particular author, okay, if I'm looking to be published in a particular journal, you can see the the options that I typically look for, as well as the years that I'm going with there. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for like real quick and dirty of Google Scholar. The only other thing I want to say is sometimes people have questions over whether I should use quotes or whether I should just use in-text citation. So here's a paper I'm currently working on. And this is what my paper looks like. You'll see for any other writing, you'll see an in-text citation. Okay, in-text citation simply means you're going to have a bracket, the author's last name, and if there's multiple authors, if there's 3 or more, you do it like this. If there's 2, then you do it like this, right? So you have a little and signal, and symbol, ampersand is what it's called. 2 last names and then the year. Okay. You'll notice that most of these references do not have quotes around it. Okay. What this is saying that I'm getting the idea from this paper, Wayne et al., but I'm not quoting word for word. A lot of times students are like, oh, I'm so worried about plagiarism, so they quote everything word for word. Don't do that, okay? Because what that does is disrupts the flow of your paper. I generally recommend for students or junior researchers that you only use quotes for definitions, okay? So in this case, we say we focus on efficiency gains, which really is trying to define what an efficiency gain is, okay? Or another example is right here, okay, at the bottom, last sentence, okay, is it saying blah, 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 domain through work family enrichment. And the definition for that is referring to the extent to which blah, 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 okay? Anytime you quote word for word, exact wording, put quotes around it, you're allowed to copy the exact words that's in the other article, okay? You put the author's names, the year, and if you're quoting, you also need the page number. That is important, okay? So that's the big difference. So look here, it's not a direct quote. You don't need the page number, but here, direct quote, or here, a direct quote, so you need the page number, okay? So that's in-text citation. Once you get to the bottom, you'll have the full citation. Again, this comes directly from Google Scholar, so you're good to go. It's an easy copy paste and you'll be fine. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you found that helpful in terms of a quick and dirty how to use Google Scholar.